In our world lies a remnants of a time long gone and buried under the flesh of the new. Fossils and imprints that were covered and changed by the earth in an attempt to preserve the stories of the ancient. Sure, some people exaggerated those stories, with tales of dragons and winged beasts that could scorch the skies with their fire-filled breath. But to the rest that tried to guess what beast these imprinted skeletons belonged to, it took them many upon many years to get a bunch of details right. But one thing has always been known about the ancient creatures of our world. They once dominated the land, oceans, and skies before their throne on top fell to something out of their control. So why the hell are these ones only good at sniffing? Heya, my name is Kadev, and you know exactly what this video is about. However, feel free to skip to this part of the video if you're already aware of what the sniffer is, and do not need a detailed recap. I'm sure you all saw the thumbnail and title before you started watching. You know what's going on. Alright, so either for those who really like the sound of my voice, or for those who haven't caught up on Minecraft's newer content in the past couple of years, back on October 4th, 2022, there was a Minecraft mob vote which brought 3 competitors to the table. The Sniffer, the Rascal, and the Tough Golem. And not much later on October 16th, the winner was announced, with that being none other than the Sniffer. Now, even after its initial victory in the 2022 mob vote, it definitely needed quite some time to be worked on and tested, being seen in some snapshots during early 2023, but it wouldn't officially release until June 7th, 2023, with the 1.20 Tales and Trails update. There were quite a few other things introduced in that update, but this video's primary focus is the Sniffer, so I'll only cover stuff that is linked to our lovable sniffing friend. Upon the update's release, if you were to enter warm ocean ruins and bring a brush with you, you could find suspicious sand which has a 6.7% chance of giving you a sniffer egg of your very own. Now, how an ancient creature's egg was perfectly preserved in some sand with the creature being found nowhere else in the world prior to you bringing it back,
it's a stone, Luigi!
Is beyond my knowledge. But as you'll see later, I'll provide a fun idea that takes this concept a step further in some ways. But I digress. After you get your hands on a sniffer egg, you can place it on any block where it'll take around 20 minutes to hatch. The only exception to this being moss blocks, which actually cut that time in half. And once it finally hatches, you got a little ancient creature that would not be in your world without your input. Luckily, this isn't the Jurassic Park franchise, so you shouldn't come to regret it someday, unless the items they dig up start lagging your game.
I wonder if my PC can handle
torch flowers and pitcher plants.
Wait, what's that noise? Oh my god, my PC!
Speaking of which, the sniffers tend to sploot, as the wiki describes it, which, by the way, if you're having a rough day, look up animals splooting, you get a bunch of adorable pictures that are sure to make you smile. This process is where they sniff the ground before getting down close to it, stretching out all their legs to the ground just like a real-life animal would do when it sploots. Then, they start digging it up with their noses. This results in them digging up one of 2 options, the seeds for a torch flower, or a pod for a pitcher plant. These, well, to put it lightly, both plants aren't really special besides making orange and cyan dyes respectively, while also looking neat as decorations for cool garden builds. They're essentially just like your standard flowers you can find elsewhere, except the only way to get them is through reviving the sniffer. Most people, including me, feel like this leaves a lot to be desired, but instead of making a whole video just complaining about it, I want to see what could be changed and give my own spin on this little big fella. So, with you fully caught up on what the sniffer is, let's begin redeveloping this cute yet cool creature. So, it can't be denied that the sniffer is meant to be some equivalent to the prehistoric creatures from our world, with it being dug up as if we the players were paleontologists. But instead of just turning these amazing beasts into some fossils and calling it a realistic version, I want to take it down the route that they are still alive and will continue to thrive, devoid of the player's input. In our world, there's a term for animals that have not changed much since their prehistoric ancestors. That term being living fossils. Popular examples being the horseshoe crab or coelacanths. These creatures either weren't pressured into evolving different features by their surroundings, or their existing features proved perfectly fit for their environment.
Nice.
No matter the reason, there is proof that some animals don't have to change too much from their ancestors. The reason I bring this up is because my take on the Sniffer has a life cycle that continues on without a player having to dig up a preserved egg to bring back the species. It starts back in warm ocean ruins, the same place you can find them in the actual game. Adult Sniffers return to these areas as a sort of nesting ground, similar to how herds of dinosaurs used to come together in one general area to create their nests. My take on the Sniffer may not look like it, but I like to think they are semi-aquatic to explain how their eggs ended up in the ocean. Anyways, as the new generation of Sniffers hatch, they swim around to collect their first bits of plant life on their backs, that being algae. This algae has a symbiotic sort of relationship with Sniffers, which isn't unheard of in our own world. Sloths are known to have a symbiotic relationship with algae as it grows in their fur. However, the way the relationship works is a bit different, I think, when it comes to Sniffers. As the young Snifflets try to continue giving them moisture and sunlight, the algae provides help to the other bits of plant life the Sniffers attempt to adorn over the course of their lives.
Yeah, you see that green stuff? I made that algae.
Wait, did I just hear that they wear a variety of plant life? Yup, it is unknown why exactly, but the Sniffers have a specific instinct to pick up seeds or different plant life that is becoming endangered, growing more of them atop their back with the help of the algae as they search for new homes for these plants. But why? Well, the world of Minecraft has always had a rule that everyone knows. Daytime has always been mostly a safe haven past illagers and pillagers. But night? We all know what monsters the night brings. And even my take on this world isn't safe from that rule. The Blight is the name I gave to the entity, responsible for mobs such as zombies, skeletons, phantoms, and even the mobs of the Nether. Its motivations are currently unknown, but we won't get into the specifics of all that till a future video. For this one, all you need to know is that their entire goal is to rip apart every bit of life they can. They crave the feeling of making one species go extinct after another without end, limiting Minecraft's world to only so many animals. The Sniffers are somehow all aware of this fact through pure instinct, and it is believed that they were made for the sole purpose of spreading and protecting plant life since the dawn of nature itself. Sure, you could say they are doing a pretty bad job when comparing, our Earth's amount of species to Minecraft's, but at the same time, there's only so much a single species can do. Anyways, back to what they're capable of. They have large, bulky bodies that make it difficult to reach the bits of plant life they are guarding. They have horns sprouting from their heads and noses, and a clubbed tail that is meant to shatter any bits of the blight that dares try to bring danger to their personal gardens with lethal force. I originally planned for this design to have the Thagomizer of a Stegosaurus, but knowing how the undead tend to be, it would probably be way more of a danger if a zombie were to get stuck on the spike rather than being brutally slammed away from the Sniffer. However, the Stegosaurus inspiration isn't fully gone. Although it isn't shown on this design in the speed paint, some Sniffers actually use vines to keep stone plates in place to help more specific plants grow more efficiently atop their backs. Now, continuing with their life cycle, when a Sniffer becomes an elder, they slow down a bit and tend to offer the plant life they have collected over the course of their life to the younger generation before returning to the ocean. They then help spread the algae on their backs in several areas before reproducing and adding to the new generation of Sniffers protected within the warm ocean ruins they came from. The average lifespan, however, is far beyond most humanoids, so don't expect an old-looking Sniffer to go out too early. They might still have some fight left in them, saved specifically for those pesky monsters. Now for the plant life adorned by the Sniffer we see here, there's actually some reasonings behind all of them. Of course, I wanted to include the pitcher plant and torch flower since those are directly connected to the Sniffer in-game, but as for the others, I was originally planning for there to be glowberries and flowers similar to the spore blossoms which can both be found in lush caves. The flowers made it in, albeit a bit shrunken down, but I actually more drastically changed the berries to be blue because my close friend Ashley actually reminded me of this one mistake Mojang had made where a set of glowberries had a vibrant blue color in a specific screenshot. I wanted the sniffer to seem like it's been across a variety of places with an interesting collection of plant life, and so I followed through on this joke and turned the berries blue. For the Venus flytrap-like plant and the Rafflesia, I wanted a set of real-life endangered plants for the sniffer to protect. Although, of course, giving them a fictional twist, as the sniffer is both fictional itself and set in a fictional world. I like to think the Venus flytrap actually tends to chomp down on zombies that get too close, providing a small bit of protection to its protector. Now, even though the sniffer here has a specific design, as stated earlier, sniffers can have completely different bits of plant life that changes their designs, or even different bits of stone to help grow specific plants. Examples being sandstone to grow desert plants, or mycelium to grow mushrooms from the mushroom forests, or fields, or whatever the biome's called. So, feel free to design a sniffer with your own set of plants and changes.
What's wrong? Don't recognize me? I know it's been quite a while since most of you have seen from me, waiting for 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 me,
But you and I know it's just boring to leave it at that, don't we? I want more, you want more, so let's bring this little creation back to where it came from. This is Minecraft Redeveloped after all.
And I think I did well at making something quite worth all of your time. So, why don't you take a spin, old friends?
So, I had the idea for this segment after I already recorded my lines for the rest of the video, so I do apologize if my voice sounds different here. Now, it's fun bringing a creature from a game into a larger story and world, but what if my version of the sniffer was brought back to the actual game? What mechanics would I change and what would be added? Well, I decided to explore that here for those curious. Starting off with how they spawn. Like I said, their eggs can be found in nests throughout warm ocean ruins. Bringing a brush with you, you can use it to gently break apart the nest, releasing a cluster of 1 to 3 sniffer eggs that enter your inventory or just float to the surface. If the brush isn't used, then the nest will break, only releasing either 1 or just no eggs at all. But what was that? When near the nesting grounds, you begin to hear something swimming around at high speeds before a laser targets and shoots at you. For some reason, protecting the nesting grounds is a group of guardians. These guardians don't attack the peaceful mobs nearby, but rather attack the player and hostile mobs like Drowned, seeing them as threats to the new generation of sniffers. The exact reasoning for why there's a group so far away from an ocean monument, or why they're protecting sniffer eggs, will be explored in a future video dedicated to them. But all that's known is that there is some line of defense for the sniffers to help make sure some don't have to stay behind just to protect their eggs. Anyways, like stated previously in this video, my take on the sniffers go under the term living fossils. So while you can find sniffer eggs and raise your own after getting your hands on some, you can also find adult sniffers out in the wild throughout almost any biome in the overworld besides ocean biomes, the pale garden biome, caves, and basically any biome with little to no plant life. Although the chance of an adult sniffer spawning is quite rare, it is fun seeing them as they'll carry the plant life of their respective biome on their backs, while also having a chance to carry pitcher plants or torch flowers with them. This means, for example, if you were to find one in birch forests, you're likely to see them with birch saplings and any sort of flowers that spawn there. Normally you won't be able to get these plants off of the sniffer, But if you offer it a gift, like some berries, it'll let you use shears to clip one of the plants off its back, with bits of algae coming off as well. I'll explain what algae would do in a second, but before then, I want to explain more changes to the Sniffer. First of all, I changed it from a passive mob to a neutral one, only fighting back when provoked, which would be either from you attacking it, or attempting to shear off one of its dear plants without offering a gift in return. The Sniffer would have 50 HP or around 25 hearts, around half of an iron golem's, and it would of course have some ways to defend itself. Either through using its horns to knock you back, doing around the same damage as a stone sword at around 5 HP or 2.5 hearts, or by swinging its clubbed tail at you, which knocks you back way further and does 15 HP or 7.5 hearts of damage. The Sniffer would also act similar to an iron golem, going out of its way to attack hostile mobs like zombies or skeletons. Now, if the Sniffer were to be killed, the Sniffer would drop some algae and any plants on its back upon death, but would give little to no experience, cause why would you want to kill one when you can just, give it some berries and it's your friend, he's your friend, you little guy. With all that said, what about algae? After you, hopefully, shear a plant or some algae off the Sniffer's back, you can mix it with dirt to make a special new block named Fertilized Dirt. With the algae acting as a fertilizer for this newfound block, you might be wondering what its uses are. I mean, why go through the trouble of making it? Well, to answer your question, it helps better improve your gardens and farms. You could use a hoe to till this fertilized dirt, and when properly watered, like normal tilled dirt, it allows you to grow crops using a variety of seeds. The difference being that since it's fertilized, it grows crops 50% faster and tends to give you higher yields of said crops, similar to using the Fortune enchantment when harvesting. This is a fun way to make the Sniffer far more useful, as algae is only accessible through giving gifts to these beautiful creatures. Mostly, don't kill it, no. You hear me, player? You hear me? You hear everyone who's watching this? No. Don't kill it. Don't kill it from the algae. You can get it in a better way. It's like killing the sheep. Okay? Alright. Good. So, how do Sniffers and Snifflets get new plants? I had the fun idea that instead of splooting to dig up random seeds from the ground, they'd go up to plants that they can easily reach before going down and digging up a seed of that plant without breaking the plant itself. If it's a seedless plant like a flower, then it just kinda clones it, and after finishing the animation, the Sniffer or Snifflet will have a copy of that plant on its back, which allows you to duplicate more difficult plants to get your hands on, unless you got a bunch of bone meal. The existence of bone meal kinda makes this feature useless, but I find it neat, and I'm sure some person would find a way to make it insanely broken. Even though it'll do this with most plants, including mushrooms, there are some it won't interact with, mostly being plants from the nether or end, so chorus fruits and wart mushrooms are off the table, as well as pale oak trees and all ocean plants like kelp and seagrass. Please remember, this is my personal take on how the Sniffer could be improved in-game. If you have your own ideas, then please comment them down below, because I'd actually kinda love to see what everyone else would do with a Sniffer, to be honest. It's a fun mob to think about. So yeah, there's my take on the Sniffer. If you'd like me to redesign a specific mob of your liking, then please make sure to comment it down below. And while you're at it, please consider liking and subscribing to help boost my channel up. Doing this sort of stuff is really fun for me, and I'd love to continue doing the series. Speaking of which, for those who are still watching, I consider this video sort of like a pilot, so feel free to give any criticisms to help make the next video better. With that said, thank you for watching, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. See ya!